need water so bad. Wow, Jackie Poo's getting good numbers from Reiki music. That's crazy. I know you can't tell, but I have my arms crossed like my boy Jackie over here. Pretty angry right now. Damn, 3.6 or 0.6. Not bad, honestly, considering this is Jack Harlow and fucking rate your music. Meaning most people gave this shit a 3. Yeah. Wow, Jack. That's pretty impressive, honestly. I'd say that's a pretty big W for him. Anyways, I'm gonna talk about the album. Uh, and just my overall thoughts on Jack, I guess, somewhere in between. Alright, this is Jack Harlow's something album. I don't know if it's sophomore, senior, fucking thesis statement album, dude. One of them years. You know? Uh, but regardless, he dropped an album. It's getting pretty decently received by the music, how do I put it? By like old heads, if that makes sense. The people who are old heads or think they're old heads, let's just say. He's been getting a lot of decent reception from the people who like respect the game and all that shit, and like you have to earn their respect to be accepted into the game, even though it's a very strange and weird like rite of passage or some shit like that. I don't know. I don't get it. But I mean that's what he tried doing here. Um, and it was interesting. It was an album that was interesting. I'll say this: the production is really good, like really, really good, like really, really, really good. That soulful, you can see right here, it's fucking chipmunk soul, which means the album kind of has like this late registration to it. I call it a wannabe late registration feel. But it's still really well done. I'd compare this to the Red Veil EP. Very soulful, very fun, type beats that are just like, they're just good shit. Um, and yeah, just good shit overall. And Jack himself as an MC, is he all that great? He's not for me personally. But he still gets the job done. I feel like, he's enough for the album to be good. He's not a Lil Pump or anything. He's not no fucking 6ix9ine. He doesn't have like a cringy. He is cringy. His personality isn't unbearable on this album. But it's not the most enthralling thing either. You know what I'm saying? Like he's good enough for the album. That's all. As for which tracks I really fucked with and didn't, Questions was probably my least favorite, and what else? It might have been Ambitious. Might have been one of these early 3 tracks. One of them I didn't like, but the rest of the album was good. I liked it. Not a lot, but they were enough to service me. Also, It Can't Be, which I'll talk about in its own fucking separate little vein. But everything else was good. Is That I was pretty good. Gang, gang, gang. I liked the little story behind it. I remember liking Denver, but honestly, I'm not gonna bother myself to listen to this album again. I'm really tired at the moment. Um, I mean, pretty okay, like, project, honestly. Nothing crazy. And it, honestly, I'd give it maybe pretty high rating if it weren't for It Can't Be. The beat is great, and it's really fun. But then Jack goes on this fucking rant about how, like, it can't be how, I'm white and that's the only reason I'm successful. I get where he's coming from, that whole memo of like, oh, well, if you're white, it's so easy to be a rapper. I honestly don't think it's easy to be a rapper. I just think it's easy to continue to be a rapper, and that's it. Being and starting off as a white rapper is it easy? No. I always go back to this one video by Alpha Media that's like black artists and white artists. Imagine them as rocket ships, right? The black artist is a black rocket ship that has no problem getting off the ground and going really, really far, right? Can go pretty fucking far. You look at, these are your Jay-Z's, your Nas, your Kendrick Lamar's, your fucking Biggies and Tupac's. They didn't have much trouble. They had a little bit of trouble getting off the ground. Not in Jay-Z or Nas's case. Uh, I don't even know how Big started, honestly. I know he was in that group though. But like the other two, Kendrick, Tupac, and Big, they took a minute to get up, but once they got up, it was smooth sailing from there. And even then, you could argue like Section 80, which is only like what 7 years into Kendrick Lamar's career, which honestly is not that bad. Like a lot of artists get completely fucked for like ever until like they're like late 20s, you know what I mean? So I mean he got it kind of nice. But these artists, they took a minute, but just like any other artists, they fucking soared to heights never seen before. With white artists though, like Eminem and fucking Mac Miller and I can't think of anyone else. I have to use him. Fuck, MGK. That ship is gonna take a long time to get off. That white rocket ship that represents a white artist, that rocket ship is a really hard time getting off the ground. But once it gets off the ground, there is no fucking stopping it. The heights it can go to are hundreds of times higher than any just average black artist. That's why when a white artist goes, they go. You look at Jack and how yes, it took a while for his career to go off. I'm not saying Jack has not been a hard working guy. Any doubters out there, bro? I'm really sounding like a Jack Harlow fanboy right now. But I mean, 2011. This guy's been at it since 2011, and only but until 2020 did he really start to get going. That's 9 years of grinding. But that one album is nuts. In terms of popularity, is stupid popular. And the next one is even crazier. I mean, imagine your sophomore album having Drake. I mean, yes, you Kendrick Lamar. Not even that. I think that, yeah. Or was Section 80 a fucking first or second? I don't know. Anyways, he had Drake on his second album. How? And this isn't even like 2011 Drake, or 2012 Drake, where he's big, but you can reach out to him and he'll try or something. This is Drake the fucking... Oh shit. This is Drake the culture vulture, the guy who fucking swoops in on any trend he can. And like, it's like he's selective as fuck, dude. As fuck. He'll hop on some random shit or some like insanely hype shit. He has no fucking filter or lens for anything unless it's popular and it will blow up. Lo and behold, all of a sudden, Jack Harlow is one of the most popular artists in the world, right? I'm not saying if he were black it wouldn't happen, but it was definitely sped up by his popularity was sped up by the fact that he was white, right? It's just more easy for like a mainstream audience in a country that is predominantly white to relate to an artist that is white than an artist that is black. It just fucking is easier, dude. It just is. It's not even to diss Jack Harlow or anything. This album really is decent. It really is decent. But I look at that one song and I just say, are you kidding me? You're really gonna deny the fact that white artists are more accepted into the mainstream than black artists? You're really gonna deny the fact that every fucking artist that is not, that is black and on the radio is like a top 50 in popularity? It's like, oh, well, The Weeknd is there. Yeah, but he is like creeping and shit. And creep, like, that shit is like an exception. He is an exception. He's not the rule. 21 Savage, exception, not the rule. Drake, exception, not the rule. When was the last fucking time you turned on your local radio station and heard, like, I don't know, like Denzel Curry or Jid, but it wasn't Imagine Dragons? Or, like, I'm trying to think of a more mid tier artist. Um, like NBA Youngboy. When was the last time you heard a Youngboy song on the radio? Never. Never. You know what I mean? It's the fact that it's so easy for the mainstream to just accept a white artist in comparison to a black artist, right? It doesn't matter how good their music is. It doesn't matter how, kid friendly it is. Okay, maybe it does a little bit. Like, it's just the mainstream is just more accepting to white people than there are black people. Like, it just fucking is. And if I'm wrong, I'll go right now and do some research just to see the ethnicities and demographics of artists on the radio. But I don't see it. I don't see the fucking reason why you would need to be so salty about something. You know, it just feels so bitter. It can't be. The beat slaps, but it's so bitter. It's so I don't know. Jack just pisses me off on that song. But everything else, good project. Not the greatest thing in the world, but good. And yeah, my final rating would probably be a 5 or 6 out of 10. Probably a 6 out of 10. Kind of agree with Rate Your Music here. 6.5. Yeah, let's be generous and say 6.5. Okay album, perfectly acceptable. Yeah, that's about it. See ya.